Hello and welcome to the Monday Agenda. As Tanzania draws closer and closer to the Innovation Week 2020, which will commence on the 8th of March this year for the couple of days, I'm again highly privileged to have this session of the Monday Agenda with the Managing Director for Vodacom Tanzania, Mr. Hisham Hendi. And on the program as well is Mr. Joseph Manirakizo, is the Country Director for HTAF, who are organizing this event. So welcome to the program and thank you for being part of the Monday Agenda. We are looking onto the Innovation Week, which commences on the 8th of March. But let's just get the audience a clear understanding when we speak of innovation. What is it in relation to job creation in Tanzania?
For me, innovation is one of those typical words that are taking place nowadays and across the world. And it's a very, for me, it's a process of an idea, transforming an idea into a product or a service that benefits the end user, whether it's a customer, whether it's a company, an organization, an entity, and so on. So if you think about it today, a lot of the organizations, a lot of entities, companies around the world are going through different transformational programs, right? Whether it's a digital transformation, whether it's an efficiency programs within the company. What we're seeing is that a lot of these entities, organizations, and companies are actually looking for new innovations and inventions within their company. And if you look at that today, who are the best people that are placed to do that? Are young students, young graduates that are full of energy and innovation. And they actually, they're the ones today that come into the companies, and there's a lot of job opportunities for them because the company needs them, because they've got the ideas, they're full of energy, and a lot of these big corporates are actually listening to them and adopting their thoughts and ideas into their businesses. So I believe with where the world is going with innovation, I think there's a lot of it will definitely support the job creations. And specifically for Tanzania, here there's with the Innovation Week, what we saw last year, a lot of fresh young students full of energy. They've got all these thoughts, and I'm sure it will help into the job creation agenda within Tanzania as well.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask you specifically how Vodacom has been able to actually see that through the process of innovation, transforming ideas into actually ventures. But let's hear from HTAF. You've actually been doing this for a number of years, which we'll talk about in a short. But again, what is it that you've noticed different in terms of innovation in Tanzania as compared to other countries?
I think, as Hisham has put it, I don't want to go back to the definition of innovation. I think it can actually be defined in various words, but it's just doing things, doing business differently. In whichever, when I think about coming up with a new idea which is going to be commercialized, we are coming about the government doing things more efficiently and more openly, probably, and kind of reaching out to the citizens that they're supposed to serve in a more efficient way. So whether it's about reaching out to grassroots people who are not even the formal education, but at least capturing what they're doing and supporting it. So it kind of cuts across. And what we have seen, it's a conversation that hasn't started like long time ago, but it's actually keeping up paces like very quickly. Innovation is not going to be the solution to all the problems that we have, all the challenges that humanity has. But without it, we are not going to solve so many of them. So which means they're actually at the center of everything. So whether you're thinking about an innovator somewhere in Iringa or Tandahimba, whatever you can call it, who's coming up with an idea which can actually become a business. And think about if that idea can be nurtured to grow into a business which is going to employ people, that particular innovator needs like a whole ecosystem around him or around her. And that's why we want like everybody to actually understand what innovation is and what it can actually do. That's why kind of looking at the ecosystem approach of innovation. You can think of any type of stakeholder, be the government. If the government doesn't understand what innovation can do, they're not going to come up with policies which are going to be conducive to this particular innovator. And that way, if that innovator doesn't grow, then there's limited kind of potential of creating jobs for these young people actually yearning for it. If you think of like corporates who have got like infrastructure to help that particular innovator, if they don't understand, if they don't get involved, then there's limited capability of that idea growing. Think of banking, think of financial sector, like everyone. So that's why we have to, what actually gives me hope right now is everyone now getting involved, like from the innovator themselves, from the government, from the international development agencies, from the corporate, like everyone think of innovation is very important if we are going to solve the problem of job creation in Tanzania, because at the end of the day, we know that the number of formal jobs are limited. So we have to look at the other way of actually achieving that.
So what is it that we're celebrating this year, Joseph, in the 6th Innovation Week in Tanzania? What is the theme and what really are we carrying forward?
Yeah. For you have been following this Innovation Week since when you started, and we always come up with a theme which kind of resonates with what is happening. Last year, we were talking about sustaining and scaling innovation for impact, for sustainable development, something like that. This year, we're like, okay, fine. Now we are seeing so many people getting interested in innovation. We are seeing so many people coming up with ideas. So what we are reminding them is like, whatever you come up with, it should be something which is of value, which is going to create impact. So we are telling them the main thing for this is innovate for impact. Now that's addressed to anybody. So whatever you're doing, if you are changing processes in the way you work, if you are coming up with a product which is going to solve a certain problem, having in mind the kind of impact it's going to create. Mm-hmm. Probably it could be about making money, which is going out to employ more people. Maybe it could be like solving the issue of having access to water in a certain village. Maybe, so that's the simple thing that we come up with. So beneath that, there are other sub-themes. We want to call that the relevance of technology in this innovation kind of bandwagon. So we're going to be looking at emerging technologies to achieve development. We recognize the importance of finance, so we are going to have events which are going to look at financing for innovation, financing for sustainable development. We are recognizing the importance of partnerships. That's why this year around, if you are going to be the difference between this year and last year, we actually have like a diversified group of sponsors and partners. Like we have Vodacom from the corporate that actually lives innovation, if you have seen one of their tagline. We have like UNDP, whose main role is actually to spur sustainable development. We have the likes of Exim Bank. We have the likes of UN Women, who actually have to look, okay, we are not leaving anyone behind when we're talking about innovation. Yeah, we have Clouds FM, because they are supposed to now kind of push this innovation conversation forward. So we have everyone who's supposed to be pushing that. Of course, on the side of the government, we have, of course, COSTECH and others. And UKAID has always been behind this innovation week.
We have Isham with us on the program, and maybe to understand, why did Vodacom decide to support? And is this the first time you're supporting the Innovation Week?
No. We were there last year.
Okay, this is the second time you're supporting.
Yes.
So if you look onto the impact that the Innovation Week has had in Tanzania and its outlook in the future, in relation to why are you as Vodacom, what propels you to actually support the Innovation Week in Tanzania?
So just to give you an example, last year we were part of the Innovation Week, and what we actually had a challenge, a hackathon challenge, and it was amazing to see. The hackathon challenge was about education, and it was bringing the content of that education from through internet portal via SMS, right? Mm-hmm. And we actually had a good number of participation, almost around 100 people participated in the hackathon. It was amazing, right?
It is, yeah.
And you could see that the people and the students and the youngsters in Tanzania are really hungry to be part of that challenge. Yeah? So I was pretty impressed with the participation of this great group of people, despite the fact, obviously, that did not still evolve into a real solution, but still the hackathon learning was amazing for all of us. In fact, absolutely, that two of them are actually they got rewarded because they were the top in that, and actually today they have an internship with Vodacom, and they're part of our employees. And that's why I'm telling you, like, back to the job creation, I think we are, as Vodacom, we're always keen to have innovators and young people within the company, because we believe this is where the future is.
Absolutely.
And we need that kind of mindset within our organization.
Joe, looking on to the previous innovation weeks that we've had in Tanzania, I know you touched a little bit of that, but where do you see the innovation week going? And where do you see innovation rather going here in Tanzania?
Well, maybe starting from innovation.
Are we growing? Are we stalled? Are we literally, is there something happening?
Well, we are growing. That's all I can tell you. Because I mean, looking at, we are lucky to have been in these ecosystems since 2014. So we've actually been seeing the strides we have actually been making. So we're definitely going. I touched on the kind of now conversation which is going around. Like, I think in 2013, 2014, it was very rare to go in a government office and actually have a conversation around innovation. That has changed, right? We didn't have so many corporates now kind of sponsoring the types of hackathons or pitching competitions or here and there. So now it's actually happening. We didn't have like UN agencies thinking of establishing like innovation hubs or accelerators within their own premises. So that now has changed over time. So it's not just in Tanzania, but globally, everyone is actually realizing that if we are to achieve sustainable development goals, we have to do things differently. We have to act differently, we have to think differently. We don't have to be constrained by the processes and the that we put for ourselves, right? So yeah. When it comes to Innovation Week, I mean, it's been growing like steadily. And last year we kind of tried to experiment how we can involve other people, because initially it was HDIF, which is a UK program that have been running it as an activity. We realized that it's actually growing beyond our scope as a program, so we have to let it go to other people. So we experimented using, I mean, now involving other people like Vodacom and others last year. This time around, like, actually, let's, as HDA, pull out a little bit and give a larger stake to other people to actually get involved. So right now, actually, the biggest sponsors for this Innovation Week is Vodacom and UNDP.
Wow, okay.
What we are looking for the future is actually to make it more available for everyone else, not just HGIF. What we are going to be working on this time around, I think you've heard that now this time we are also going to extend it to, there's a national competition for science, technology, and innovation, which is normally run by the Ministry of Education. The peak of it is going to be in Dodoma in the following week after the Innovation Week in Dar es Salaam. So in the coming days, what we're going to do just to kind of talk to the government to see how we can now harmonize all these that are around innovation. Because in the past, the government have been talking about having a National Innovation Week. So we want to see how we can actually make that happen, and make sure that it kind of involves all the stakeholders involved in Innovation Week.
Innovation does not necessarily come from urban cities or urban setups. And you mentioned Tandahimba, you mentioned very remote places. How do these people with such innovative ideas, which could address 1,000,001 challenges that we face in the country today, have a share on this platform?
The good thing right now, we have technology. I mean, I'm not saying that probably those things are starting to happen now. They were happening before, but we never got to know about them. But right now, somebody in Sumbawanga is going to attempt to assemble a helicopter. The next day you know it because of communication technology. It's there. And every institution in the country is going to, okay, how can we help that person? Or how can we kind of guide them, you know? So it's happening. And on top of that, that has actually sparked like conversation within even the government and institutions, like how can we reach out to these grassroots innovators who have got great ideas, and how can we guide them much better? So that gave an idea of having these National Competition of Science and Technology, that's under the leadership of Ministry of Education and COSTECH and VET and others. That's called Makisatu ni Kiswahili, Mashindano ya Kitaifa ya Sayansi, Teknolojia na Ubunifu, which now is going to happen this year for the second time. So what that does kind of complements what we've been doing, because for us we have been kind of focusing on what happened in the cities, which it's a kind of shortcoming in a way. but they go all the way to the remote areas. They work with the local governments to identify those innovators, and they make them compete in different categories. And at the end of the day, they get the winners in all the categories. So the winners actually get to be awarded, but on top of that, they also look at what kind of needs they have in terms of capacity and capacitate them. So what we can do as stakeholders involved in innovation is to see how we can add value to that. So we don't just limit that to competition, but actually evolve it into like a more sustainable program that can actually reach out to these people in the rural areas.
And how does Vodacom, or rather, Vodacom first, but then other organizations in Tanzania support to make innovation sustainable? Yeah.
So for us, the way we see it, it has to be done through partnerships, through capacity building, through continuous engagement and support, right? And we believe very much that it's a dialogue, right? And the dialogue, the organizations like ourselves and other big companies needs to really open up to the different innovators and the different and the new trend of new thoughts and ideas with different youngsters around the country, where we have that kind of dialogue and we open some partnership. We have some sort of forums. So I think that the Innovation Week is an excellent platform to start with, to have such kind of dialogue and such kind of conversations. And what it's also good is that it invites all the private sector, different corporates to come and attend, and it's open for also these thoughts and ideas to showcase their projects and their innovations to these companies and these organizations. Yeah.
So Vodacom is supporting that indirectly through supporting the dialogues.
Correct.
Okay.
100%. We are pretty much in full support of these dialogues, and if you recall, we've launched with Smart Lab a program which is called the Vodacom Accelerator Program.
Yes.
And that is one of the platforms that we believe is inviting the innovators across the country to be part of this accelerator program, where they kind of come and compete, and we open our technology platform to them, whether it's mobile money, whether it's our own billing platform, because the idea is that we also want these innovations to be sustainable, right? And as big corporates around the country, we have established the infrastructure, we have the systems, we've got the right organization and so on. So that kind of support is pretty much needed for the startup businesses, and I think this is where we come in as the private sector supporting these thoughts and ideas. Yeah.
You are watching the Monday Agenda, and with me on the program is the Managing Director for Vodacom Tanzania, Mr. Hisham Hendi, and Mr. Joe Manirakiza, who is the Country Director for HTAF, and we are looking onto the Innovation Week, which is commencing on the 8th of March. We are looking onto how innovation in Tanzania can actually address challenges that we face today for this generation and the generations to come. Joe and Hisham, we have been, since independence in Tanzania, 55 plus years today, been fighting poverty, illiteracy, and diseases. And many more challenges are emerging every day in our society. I can name 100 others. How do we link? How do we support? You mentioned about the ecosystem. How do we support the ecosystem to really be able to address these challenges that the communities face today here in Tanzania? Hisham has mentioned dialogue, which is very key and very relevant. But again, it should not just be, we speak and then we leave very little space to actually go and do something. So Joe, what's your take on this?
As I said before, you cannot solve the problems by keeping on thinking and doing the same things you've been doing for years, right? I don't think the 21st century is the century we should be talking about the problem of illiteracy with all.
We still have the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Hisham mentioned it
Exactly,
as well. Yes.
Exactly, it's still a big problem.
Yeah.
And my take is we shouldn't be actually talking about it. It's something that should have eradicated a long time ago. Like illiteracy shouldn't be like the problem, right? Because we have all the resources we need. We have the technology that makes it easy to actually reach out to so many people. So why are we not getting there? So that's why, to me, the ecosystem approach to innovation is very important. Because we said we shouldn't just just be talking and then leaving little window to action. So I think we now have to think differently. We have to talk differently. We have to dialogue, because people need to understand how can innovation actually help them unlock the potential and solve most of these problems. Without talking, without dialogue, they are not going to know. So we have to start from there. But we also have to empower those people who are in the position to act, to actually do act. Because I believe there are some people who are in position to act, but they do not know it, right? I always give an example whenever I meet with colleagues in the government. Actually, the institution you are working with is actually very powerful, but I think there must be some missing link, whether it's in the team, whether it's in the policy that you have, but at least you can innovate a little bit to kind of change the way, not breaking the rules that you have put for yourselves, but find a way of doing better, right? That's not just in the public sector, that's also in international development agencies, that's also in the private sector. That sometimes I think like we kind of put obstacles ahead of ourselves. And that actually contributes to so many things, whether it's literacy or education, whether it's health. Right now, the technology has grown so much that, if there's any kind of crisis, like a new disease has come up, it's easy to come up with a cure or like way of preventing within no time, because the technology that can facilitate that.
We're struggling with locusts, Joe.
I know.
Uh-huh.
So I think the way the response is being coordinated against locust crisis in other countries, probably it would have been very difficult in the past if we didn't have access to the resources that we have now, the technology and the thinking, the people, right? So at least you can be assured that at least something is being done, but we need to do more. In terms of hunger, that is one of the biggest, I think, enemies that were cited even by Mwalimu. Well, it's still going to be a problem if we do not actually think about it. Because if you look at, there's one site I like looking at, the World Barometer, which gives you like the how the population is growing by second. It's really scary, because we feel like, okay, we are going to be about 8.6 billion people in no time. In Tanzania, I think we are going to reach almost 100 million in 30 years or something, 50 years,
30,
right?
50 years, yeah.
So it's like, if we are still struggling with feeding the 50 plus million that we have now, what are you going to do to feed double that number in a short time? So we just have to think really hard to see that we don't put a pressure on our next generation by investing in innovative technologies or in better ways of producing food and stuff like that in a sustainable manner, so that we don't leave behind like people are going to be cursing us tomorrow.
A lot of investment is done in the country as far as innovation and innovation week is concerned, yeah? Many people are coming in. You are coming in for the second time this year, UNDP and many other supporters, the public sector, the private sector, all supporting innovation, but again, it's diversified. I liked his response in the past. He told me, Austin, we can't just address one challenge because they're sort of like interlinked. But for me, I still really think if we say, let's focus this year entirely and look onto one issue, for instance, education, so that all the resources, all the technology, all the, brains and minds just resonates around education, for instance. I'm sure by the end of the year, looking onto the policy of the public sector, looking onto the private sector, looking onto the investments that we want to put in the country, Vodacom, you're incubating innovators, etc. Just, we say this year the focus is on education. Let's address all the challenges, from the dialogue, and then we take action from there. Towards addressing this problem called education. Don't you think, in your personal opinion now, that probably that would work instead of, hitting just haphazardly, which again is a good approach, because you tackle education, there's a health issue, there's agriculture, there's food issue. What's your take?
So totally agree with you. I think in principle, I believe in priorities and being focused in what we do in general. It will give us the results and will deliver the impact to the target segment or the target society that we're in. So I totally agree with you. I think if we put all our efforts, and I think I mentioned that before, is in other forums, where we basically, why don't we just get together all the innovators that are looking at education, and let's put them together in one room and let's look at where the real issues are.
Correct.
And do the right solutions for them, instead of, as you're saying, having spread these thoughts and ideas in different areas, and at the end of the day it is not coming up through with the right capacity that we want it to be. Just to give you an example, with Vodacom, for example, here, what we've done is that we have put all our efforts into, we really have got also our priorities through the Vodacom Foundation, right? So we focused on health, education, financial inclusion, and so on. So let's take talking about education. So we've focused on education on a program called Instant Schools, right?
Instant Schools.
Instant Schools,
Okay.
and we have launched that program over a year ago.
Okay.
And it's basically a free portal completely.
Okay. All right.
And where students can access this portal, and they have got complete access to videos and content, educational content specifically for Tanzania. And what we've decided to do as Vodacom Foundation is to zero rate, so you don't have to pay anything to access this. And so far we've got over 66,000 students that are accessing that portal, and our vision is to scale that up to 1 million plus. Absolutely. If we can. And this is again back to your point around focusing into one program and making it happen. And this is one of the things that we're actually getting as well, the Vodacom group support, where we're trying to get the best practices as well and bringing it to Tanzania. Okay. So I fully agree with what you're saying. Yeah.
But this instant school, very innovative. I totally agree with you, and I probably am in love with that idea. Is it an application that we could have?
It's a portal. So it's a web. So because applications, then you need to download it and so on.
Yeah.
So it is it's a website basically, and you go inside in there, and you've got you get your credentials, and then you've got access to it. Okay. So obviously there's an onboarding process for the schools and the students and so on. But we love it because it is helping a lot of students around the country to really get to make use of technology through accessing this educational portal.
I'm giving this a prominence because it's innovative, and we're talking about innovation. Yeah. So maybe another 1 minute. How do people, Tanzanians, parents, well-wishers, the policymakers who are watching the program now, promote or support in promoting this portal so that we can reach the number of 1 million and more? Because we have more than 15 million young people in school, and that should be the number we should be looking at.
Yeah, it is the simple way here. Sometimes we do invest in a lot of things in our day-to-day, and sometimes we think that smartphones and tablets are actually luxury. Nowadays, if it's being put in the right use, it will benefit a lot of our children and our students around the country. So if there is one ask, I would say actually is that, and we're being very active in this space as well by subsidizing a lot of our devices into the country, and we're going to be putting more efforts in that, is to ensure as much as we can to get the devices to be affordable for our students. Make sure that the parents, if they can give access to their students to have their hands on a smartphone or a smart device, so that they're able to get the full benefit of the educational portal that we provide. So that would be the one thing, because it's all about getting access through that portal, to be honest with you.
Absolutely, and I think once again, I'm appreciating the fact that Vodacom comes in to support Innovation Week, because this is very innovative, and the impact that we spoke about earlier on, and the future, of course, of innovation is vivid through applications like that. Joe, maybe to draw more lessons from the previous innovation weeks or from other countries also doing innovation week or either innovating or, the whole global picture of innovation. What lessons can Tanzania draw towards, innovation?
What I can say right now is we have to appreciate the fact that we have the luxury of not having to start everything from the scratch. Right? If you think of a way of solving a certain challenge that you are facing, and probably someone has come up with a new technology or maybe the best way of doing it in Kenya, you don't have to develop your own process or technology afresh. You can actually go and learn from them and then customize and implement here. So we have that luxury of being a connected world that we can actually learn from each other. So right now, as we said about Innovation Week, it's happening here, it's happening in Nairobi. They have Nairobi Innovation Week, it's happening in Kampala, and we are kind of connecting in a way. Last year actually, the African Union started now Africa Innovation Week. It was done in Addis Ababa. There is a Global Innovation Week. So everyone is doing it in a different way, but I think what we can say that more and more people are recognizing that this is a great platform that we can actually meet and exchange and learn from each other, but also in a way kind of influence the way things should actually be done. Because the more we reach out to people who are in a position to actually make change, the better it's going to work for everybody, and the faster we're going to come up with solutions to every kind of problem you can actually think of.
This is one of the things that I totally agree with you when it comes to bringing innovation and localizing it into the marketplace. So one of the things that we have as the connected farmer, right? And as you rightly said, the agriculture in Tanzania is one of the main priorities of the government in Tanzania, right? And one of our, as our company's vision is to basically digitize Tanzania and enhance life through technology. We brought this technology into Tanzania, and this is coming from South Africa. Today it's being deployed in Kenya, Ethiopia, and Nigeria, in different industries, for example, in the dairy farming and chicken farms as well in Kenya. And what we want to do is actually bring it here, and we're ready have that solution here in Tanzania.
Okay.
We have so far we've connected over 10,000 farmers on it as well. And we're engaging with the government as well to embrace this technology, because if you think about it, digitizing the entire farming industry in Tanzania, it will have a huge impact into the economy, because just by the fact that identifying them, giving them access to the right information on when it comes to weather, what kind of seeds they use, and so on and so forth, connecting it to our mobile money platform so that they can sell and resell, and so what we're actually trying to say here is that we have a very strong platform that we are getting it from, as you said, from inheriting it from abroad and from our mother company. We are inviting all innovators around Tanzania to actually innovate in the farming space and connect to our platform.
Excellent.
And this is one of the things as well that I think it benefits innovators and it benefits the whole ecosystem of innovation.
Have you moved a step ahead in terms of inviting them, talking about it?
Absolutely, we just started to talk about it, because we also said, okay, let us not, as you said, let's walk the talk.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So we brought the technology here, we started connecting the farmers, so we want to show, like, look, there's a platform, it is working, there are over 10,000 farmers on it today, okay, karibu, So this is really, to your point, we want to, and we will continue promoting this platform as we go, because it contributes to the economy, to the society, and it is also in line with our vision as Vodacom Tanzania.
But of course, I mean, I always like, when I'm very passionate in agriculture myself, and I always like to quote Adesina, who's the president of the Africa Agricultural Bank, who says, the next millionaires in agriculture. And innovation and platforms like such are basically to accelerate, to see them move towards the right direction. Agriculture in Tanzania has not actually been performing very well, and the challenges you've mentioned, weather, the knowledge, issues of markets, people going to the farm just to put their tomatoes and onions on the road for people to buy as they drive through. I mean, I think we need to now put the application of knowledge and technology and innovation into practice so that, we make a different approach, or we deploy technology into innovation and technology into agriculture, because there's a huge potential for agriculture to do more in supporting the economy, the GDP. Joe, maybe towards the end of the program, just take my viewers quickly through the Innovation Week. What should we anticipate in the next coming days?
Details are going to be coming up as we start now getting deep into the program, the agenda, the events and everything. But people should get ready to come and interact with innovators at the exhibition, which starts on 8th of March. It will be a Sunday. So we wanted at least people who are resting until to come and see what's happening, to interact with the connected with Vodacom, with their innovative product that they're going to actually exhibit there, but also see everyone else who actually has something to show. So that's on Sunday, just the exhibition starts. It will go on for 3 days, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And on Monday, it will be an official opening. We expect to have the guest of honors, the Professor Ndalichako, Minister of Education, Science and Technology, and to be at LAPF building. So we have conversation going to start from there, what is actually happening in supporting innovation ecosystem in Tanzania, who is doing what, and we'll hear from the sponsors what they're doing, and we have some kind of plenary discussion with the audience. So we would like to welcome everyone else to come. After the opening, then there are going to be a week long of events. If you want to know about the instant schools, if you want to know more about connected farmers, Vodacom is going to be talking about that in detail more, running a workshop. Wow. If you want to know about financing innovation and what is actually happening within the finance sector, we are going to be having Exim and others talking about that. If you want to know about what UNDP is doing in actually making innovation work for sustainable development, so they're going to be that kind of work, and then we're going to have some of our grantees as well having events like Shure Direct, Ubongo, and all others. Yeah, but maybe talking of Ubongo, prior to Innovation Week, there's actually a big conference which is going to be happening. It's called Building Brains Conference. It's happening on 5th and 6th, I guess. Again, that's recognizing the importance of preparing our next generation from the young age. Because I think one of the things that we do forget is the early childhood development, which is very critical. So Ubongo, who is our grantees, have been working on that, and they actually want to share the lessons, also bring partners together to actually learn from each other on 5th and 6th. So that's something which is going to lead to innovation. So I would like to welcome people to come and also listen to some of the inspirational talks about innovation technology, and so you can actually live inspired and start acting. Yeah.
Vodacom and HTAF, we are on the 5th regime under His Excellency John Joseph Pombe Magufuli, and of course the government is promoting Tanzania becoming a middle-income nation by 2025, and the approach to that is through industrialization. And I would look onto industrialization and innovation as two sides of the same coin. How does Innovation Week promote or support the actualization of this vision by the 5th regime? Maybe you want to add up as a concluding remark as well, so we can wrap up the program.
Yeah. No, I think the Innovation Week is a great platform to showcase really the amount of innovation that exists in the country. And what I would like to say in light of what you just mentioned now is that I was there last year, and I was impressed with the different thoughts and ideas, and some of them are already it's not just an idea, it's already available, it's working and it's functioning, but what it needs adoption. Mm-hmm. It needs support, it needs financing and so on. If we have the full private sector embracing our innovators in the country, there's something fruitful will come out. Absolutely. Right? And as you said, we are embracing this, and we are at the forefront of it at Vodacom Tanzania, and we would like to invite the rest of the private sector to come and see during this innovation week, and there's nothing to lose, right? You're just going to go there, have a look, enjoy what kind of innovations are there, and I'm sure they'll be impressed.
Absolutely. Joe, you probably want to wrap up?
We know that for us to reach there, we have to make sure that everything is going on well. And in this time and age, you cannot industrialize without having innovative kind of manpower, right? So we still need to innovate in education, in health, and make sure that we have a healthy population. We still need to embrace whoever is coming up with the best innovative technologies to actually increase farm productivity, so that if whoever is kind of setting up an industrial factory to process food have got right raw materials, the income and the inputs. So definitely, by supporting Innovation Week, by having this platform, by investing in innovation, we are directly supporting the agenda, because we are not going to industrialize if we keep on doing things the way we've been doing. So that's all I can say. So let's get ready to engage and see what's happening in the innovation ecosystem, and at least open up to supporting in whichever way, whatever position everyone is in. So that's all I can say.
And that is the Monday agenda, but I would like to reiterate what Joe had mentioned earlier, quoting the founder of Rockefeller,
No, the former president.
the former president of Rockefeller, saying innovation cannot address all the challenges, but at least with innovation, major challenges are being addressed. So let's embrace innovation in our day-to-day living. Let's not discuss innovation as the rocket science, but let's see how we can innovate, coming up with solutions to the challenges that we face today. Thank you for watching the Monday Agenda, and thanks to my very wonderful host. It's really been a great program. And this is the Monday Agenda. Until next time, I'm your host, Austin Makani, and thank you for watching.